Hello and welcome to The Wandering Clinician. I am JP de Oliveira Estevao, licensed professional clinical counselor. This podcast is where we get real about mental health. No fluff, no sugarcoating, just honest conversations, practical insights, and a little wit to help you navigate the messy, beautiful complexity of being human. If you find value here, do me a favor, subscribe, like, and share this podcast. It not only helps us grow, but it also helps spread the message that mental health matters, and it belongs at the center of our everyday lives. Now let us dive in. Learn to read the room. Emotional intelligence, in theory, is simple. You notice the vibe, you adjust your words and tone, you make others feel heard, and you do not hijack the moment like a toddler grabbing the steering wheel. But in practice, for some, reading the room is like trying to read a book that is upside down, in another language, while on fire. I will explore the subtle and not so subtle art of missing the point, starring some famous personalities who have turned conversational derailment into a kind of performance art. Jimmy Fallon is the overeager host, a man so charismatic and quick on his feet that he sometimes trips over his conversational shoelaces. Critics point out his habit of leaping in mid-thought, laughing right over someone's heartfelt sentence, and launching into a brand new story before his guest has even landed theirs. The whole exchange feels like trying to have a deep, soul-bearing heart-to-heart with a Jack Russell Terrier that just discovered uppers, adorable, energetic, and incapable of letting you finish your emotional monologue without chasing, a shiny conversational squirrel. If you interrupt, you are essentially saying, "Your sentence was adorable, but my sentence is hotter. Count to 3 before responding." This is not meditation, it is just giving the other person the radical gift of finishing a thought. Mark Zuckerberg is the algorithm in a hoodie, the man who built empires on human connection, yet somehow delivers small talk like a malfunctioning chatbot. His stiff posture, frozen smile, and pauses so long you could download a season of a Netflix show in between give the impression that someone forgot to install the casual banter plugin. Watching him in conversation feels like watching software patch itself in real time. Fascinating, slightly unsettling, and you are never entirely sure if the update will finish before the Wi-Fi drops. Humans respond to warmth. Your posture, facial expressions, and voice all carry emotional data. Loosen the jaw, tilt the head slightly, and for the love of all things social, let your eyes move naturally. People will think you are alive, not buffering. Steve Wozniak is the ultimate tech whisperer, but when it comes to people, he is more like a dial-up modem in a Bluetooth world. He openly admits he would rather troubleshoot a fried motherboard than survive the conversational minefield of a dinner party. Energy is great, but it needs calibration. Match your conversational partner's pace before revving into fifth gear. If you come in at mission, impossible intensity when they are at quiet Tuesday afternoon, the mismatch will be jarring. Elon Musk is the undisputed heavyweight champion of conversational tangents. Ask him about his new electric car, and within minutes, you will be nodding politely as he explains, in alarming detail, how to grow potatoes in Martian soil while avoiding death by cosmic radiation. It's crucial to gauge your audience's knowledge. If you notice their eyes glazing over, it's time to pivot. You can certainly invite others into your world, but you must first construct a bridge, not launch them into orbit without the proper gear. Bill Murray is the human embodiment of let's see what happens. He is beloved for his unpredictability, but that same quality can derail a conversation faster than an ex-lover showing up unannounced at one's wedding. 1 minute, you are having a perfectly normal exchange about weekend plans. The next, he is halfway through an earnest, deadpan monologue about badgers wearing fedoras and running a speakeasy. You do not know whether to laugh, take notes, or call someone. Quirk is charming until it becomes confusing. Humor works best when tethered to the current topic. If you are going to swerve, make sure the audience can see the turn signal. Kanye West is less an interviewee and more a one-man Broadway show with no intermission. He does not answer questions, he annexes them like conversational real estate. Ask him about his favorite sandwich, and you will get a 20-minute sermon on the nature of art, the failings of modern politics, and his role in humanity's spiritual awakening, none of which so much as nods in the direction of bread. Brevity is not a betrayal of genius. A two-way conversation means leaving actual space for the other person to exist. If you have more than 3 consecutive sentences, check if they still have a pulse. Greta Thunberg is the blade of directness, honed to a fine, unflinching edge. She speaks with the precision of a scalpel and the conviction of someone who once stared down the United Nations and said, "How dare you?" or warned, "I want you to panic." In speeches, this works brilliantly. Her words are meant to shake foundations, not fluff pillows. But drop one of those lines into casual conversation, and it is like announcing, "The house is on fire," in the middle of someone showing you pictures of their new puppy. Directness is a formidable tool, but in everyday exchanges, a touch of cushioning, something warm, even a little fuzzy, can keep people from feeling like they have just been hit with an existential audit over lunch. Russell Brand is less a conversationalist and more a Category 5-word hurricane. His style is an unbroken torrent of metaphors, tangents, and philosophical detours that hit you like a verbal piñata, colorful, chaotic, and slightly disorienting. Ask him the time, and 10 minutes later, you will be knee-deep in a sweeping discourse on capitalism, tantric enlightenment, and why sea otters are the true proletariat of the animal kingdom. Leave space in your verbal downpour. Pause, breathe, let others build on what you have said. Even the most fascinating ideas need room to land. Pete Davidson is the self-deprecating detour artist, the human equivalent of a GPS that suddenly decides you need to see 3 random side streets before getting back on the highway. What all these examples share is not a lack of intelligence, talent, or charisma. It is a breakdown in emotional attunement, the ability to sense the emotional currents in a room and adjust accordingly. And it results in conversations feeling lopsided, hijacked, or just plain odd. I will share with you how to stop sounding tone-deaf, abrupt, or self-centered. Listen like you are being paid for it. Do not just wait for your turn to talk. That is not listening, that is verbal loitering. Actively track what is being said and respond to the actual words rather than the script in your head. Be a mirror, not a mimic. Match the other person's tone and pace without turning into their creepy shadow. If they are calm, do not explode into the conversation like a startled game show host. Count the beats. Before you speak, count 1, 2, 3 in your head after they finish. This tiny pause makes you look thoughtful rather than predatory. Ask before you launch. If you feel the urge to change topics, preface it. This is a bit of a shift, but that way your conversational partner can brace themselves instead of feeling sideswiped. Check your monologue length. If you have been talking for more than 90 seconds, ask a question. Think of it as a conversational baton pass, not a hostage situation. Watch other people's eyes. If their gaze is darting toward the exit or their phone, you have lost them. Reel it in or pivot to something more engaging for them. Avoid conversational karaoke. Do not take someone else's story and immediately one-up it with your own. That is not sharing, but hijacking. Allow other people's songs to finish before you grab the mic. Reading the room is not about being fake. It is about being present. It is knowing when to dive deep and when to keep it light, when to share your story and when to let someone else have the floor. The best conversationalists are not always the most brilliant or entertaining. They are the ones who make you feel like your words landed exactly where they were supposed to, right in the center of their attention. Or, as the emotionally illiterate might put it, "Cool story, bro, but that reminds me of the time I..." Thanks for wandering with me today, whether you're on a walk, in your car, or hiding from your to-do list under a weighted blanket. I'm grateful you chose to spend this time with me. If something in this episode resonated, challenged you, or just made you feel a little less alone, I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, check out my book, A Boy Called JP, available now on Amazon. It's my story, raw, reflective, sometimes a bit ridiculous, but always rooted in the belief that healing is possible and that your story matters. If you liked today's episode, please rate, review, share it with a fellow wanderer, or whisper 5 stars to the sky. That works too. Until next time, take care of your mind, honor your heart, and keep wandering with intention.